Good morning, children. A very warm welcome to another session of our remote learning. I'm Shailaja from Chet Vidya Mandir English High School and Junior College. Today's subject English Prose, Class 7th, Lesson 4.6. Topic Papa Panovs Special Christmas. Video number 32. Let's get started, children. 4.6 Papa Panovs Special Christmas by Leo Tolstoy. Leo Tolstoy's full name was Count Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy. He was born on 9th September 1828 in Russia. He was usually referred to in English as Leo Tolstoy. Was a Russian writer who is regarded as one of the greatest authors of all time. His short stories The Prisoner of the Caucasus, After the Ball, What Men Live By, and many more. He died on 20th November 1910 in Russia. So this was about the writer, children. Now here I have given the glossary. Just give a reading. Introduction and summary is here, children. It's good if you just give a reading through this so that you will know beforehand what is the story about and what am I explaining you in the lesson. Just go through it before we proceed to the lesson. 4.6 Papa Panov's Special Christmas, page number 99 in the textbook, children. It was Christmas Eve, and although it was still afternoon, lights had begun to appear in the shops and houses of the little Russian village, for short winter day was nearly over. Excited children scurried indoors. Scurried means moved hurriedly indoors, and now only muffled, obstructed sounds of chatter and laughter escaped from closed shutters. Old Papa Panov, the village shoemaker, stepped outside his shop to take one last look around. The sound of happiness, the bright lights, and the faint but delicious smells of Christmas cooking reminded him of past Christmas times when his wife had still been alive and his own children little. Now they had gone. His usually cheerful face, with the little laughter, wrinkles behind the round steel spectacles, looked sad now. But he went back indoors, with a firm step, and put up the shutters and set a pot of coffee to heat on the charcoal stove. Then, with a sigh, he settled in his big armchair. Papa Panov did not often read, but tonight he pulled down a big old family Bible and, slowly tracing the lines of one forefinger, he read again the Christmas story. He read how Mary and Joseph, tired by their journey to Bethlehem, found no room for them at the inn, so that Mary's little baby was born in the cowshed. Oh dear, exclaimed Papa Panov, if only they had come here. I would have given them my bed and I could have covered the baby with my patchwork quilt to keep him warm. He read on about the wise men who had come to see the baby Jesus, bringing him splendid gifts. So this is the story of a old Papa Panov in a small village in little Russian village, small village in Russia. The village maker, the village who was told about in Russia, this old Papa Panov was a shoemaker. Okay, and he just went out and saw just observed the evening Then it was all lights were on, the day was over, short day was over. And Christmas nice aroma was coming about the cooking of Christmas recipes, dishes. And his usual cheerful face was a little laughter wrinkled. Round steel spectacles were there on him. He went backdoors with a firm step and put coffee on the charcoal coal stove that time. He put coffee and sat in an armchair. Then he often read, and his wife, his wife and children were not there. So he thought of the past Christmas, how they have celebrated. He took out a Bible and started reading the story of Mary and Joseph, tired by their journey to Bethlehem, and how Lord Jesus was he was born in the cowshed. So that is what he was telling too. I mean, the story he was telling out from the Bible, from the family Bible. Papa Pana's face fell. I have no gift that I could give him, he thought sadly. Then his face brightened. He put down the Bible and got up and stretched his long arms to the shelf high up in his little room. He took down a small dusty box and opened it. Inside was a perfect pair of tiny leather shoes. Papa Pano smiled with satisfaction. Yes, they were as good as he had remembered. The best shoes he had ever made. I should give him those, he decided as he gently put them away and sat down again. He was feeling he was feeling tired now. He was feeling tired now, and the further he read, the he became. Sleepier he became. The print began to dance before his eyes so that he closed them just for a minute. In no time at all, Papa Pana was fast asleep. Sleeping. Okay, Papa Pana sleeping. And as he slept, he dreamed. He dreamed that someone was in his room, and he knew at once, as one does in dreams, who the person was. It was none other than Jesus. You have been wishing that you could see me, Papa Panau, he said kindly. Then look for me tomorrow. It will be Christmas Day and I will visit you. But look carefully, for I shall not tell you who I am. So when at last Papa Panau awoke, the bells were ringing out and thin light was filtering through the shutters. Bless my soul, said Papa Panau. It's Christmas Day. So he stood and stretched himself, for he was rather stiff. Then his face filled with happiness as he remembered his dream. This would be a very special Christmas after all, for Jesus was coming to visit him. How would he look? Would he be a little baby as at that first Christmas? Would he be a grown man, a carpenter, or a great king? How will it be? So he was having a pair of small leather shoes and wanted to give it to Jesus. Then he slept, he tired and he was slept. He got a dream that, and Jesus told that I'll be coming tomorrow to visit you. In what manner, he doesn't know. So even when he got up from sleep, he thought that how is he going to come? So that was the question. After that, he is God's son. He must watch carefully the whole day through so that he recognized him however he came. Papa Panau put on a special pot of coffee for his Christmas breakfast, took down the shutters and looked out of the window. The street was deserted. No one was stirring yet, no one except the road sweeper. He looked as miserable and dirty as ever, and well he might, whoever wanted to work on Christmas Day and in the raw cold and bitter freezing mist of such a morning. Papa Panau opened the shop door, letting a thin stream of cold air. Come on, come in, he shouted at the street cheerily. Come in and have some hot coffee and keep out the cold. The sweeper looked up, scarcely able to believe his ears. He was only too glad to put down his broom. And broom means it's a thing where we sweep. His old clothes steamed gently in the in the heat of the stove, and he clasped both red hands round and comforting warm mug as he drank. Papa Pana watched him with satisfaction, but every now and then his eyes strayed to the window. It would never do to miss his special visitor. Expecting someone? The sweeper asked at last. So Papa Pana told him about his dream. Well, I hope he comes. The sweeper said, you have given me a bit of Christmas cheer I never expected to have. I would say you deserve to have your dream come true. And he actually smiled. When he had gone, Papa Panav put on cabbage soup for his dinner, then went to the door again, scanning the street. He saw no one, but he was mistaken. Someone was coming. So in the streets, he saw a sweeper. He called him inside, gave him hot cup of coffee. He was very happy, and he even told Papa Panav told about his dream to him. And he also said, the sweeper also said that your dream will come true. So in this way, he again went and saw on the streets somebody will be coming out, but he was mistaken. But someone was coming, he thought. The girl walked so slowly and quietly, hugging the walls of shops and houses, that it was a while before he noticed her. She looked very tired and she was carrying something. As she drew nearer, he could see that it was a baby wrapped in a thin shawl. There was such sadness in her face, and in the pinched little face of the baby that Papa Pano's heart went out to them. Won't you come in? He called, stepping outside to meet them. You both need a warm by the fire and a rest. The young mother let him shepherd her indoors and to the comfort of the armchair. She gave a big sigh of relief. I'll warm some milk for the baby, Papa Pano said. I have had children of my own. I can feed her for you. He took the milk from the stove and carefully fed the baby from a spoon, warming her tiny feet by the stove at the same time. She needs shoes, the cobbler said. But the girl replied, I can't afford shoes. I have got no husband to bring home money. I'm on my way to the next village to get work. A sudden thought flashed through the Papa Panav's mind. He remembered the little shoes he had looked at last night, but he had been keeping those for Jesus. He looked again at the cold feet and made up his mind. Try these on her, he said. He gave the shoes to the small baby who came with the lady who was not having money to buy something and she was going to a village for some work. The beautiful little shoes were a perfect fit. The girl smiled happily and the baby gurgled with pleasure. You have been so kind to us, the girl said. When she got up with her baby to go, may all your Christmas wishes come true. But Papa Pana was beginning to wonder if his very special Christmas wish would come true. Perhaps he had missed his visitor. He looked He looked anxiously up and down the street again. So the lady went off, and again he started looking at the street. There were plenty of people about. They were all faces that he recognized. They were neighbors going to call on their families. They nodded and smiled and wished him Happy Christmas. Or beggars, and Papa Panav hurried indoors to fetch them hot soup and a generous hunk of bread, hurrying out again in case he missed the important stranger. All too soon the winter dusk fell, again evening. When Papa Panav next went to the door and strained his eyes, he would no longer make out passers by. Most of were indoors by now where he walked slowly back to his room at last, put up his shutters, and sat down wearily in his armchair. So it had been just a dream after all. Jesus had not come. Then, all at once, he knew that he was no longer alone in the room. So again, he thought he didn't come, so he's alone. That was just a dream. And again, he felt in the room when he put the shutters down that somebody is inside. This was not a dream, for he was wide awake. At first, he seemed to see before his eyes the long stream of people who had come to him that day. He saw again the old road sweeper, the young mother with her baby, and the beggars he had fed. As they passed, each whispered, "Didn't you see me, Papa Panav?" There was a voice. "Who are you?" he called out, bewildered, confused. Then another voice answered him. It was the voice of his dream, the voice of Jesus. "I was hungry and you fed me," he said. "I was naked and you clothed me. I was cold and you warmed me. I came to you today in every one of those who you helped and welcomed." Then all was quiet and still. Only the sound of the big clock ticking could be heard. A great peace of happiness seemed to fill the room, overflowing Papa Panav's heart until he wanted to burst out singing and laughing and dancing with joy. So he did come, after all, was all that he said. So Papa Panav again was sitting alone in the room. Then he thought that of the voice, he heard a voice. "I came to you as a sweeper, as a young mother, and the beggars. You fed everyone and comforted them. So this I came in these different personalities to you. And you have helped me. This is what, so you have seen me." And finally he told to himself, Papa Panav, that means he did come to me. So he was happy dancing around. This was the story, children. Hope you liked it. Revise the lesson and complete the exercises in the workbook. So until our next session, happy learning. Take care of yourselves. Thank you.